Hi everybody, Love Amplified, another edition. Do you remember where you were during 9/11? I'm sure if you're like most people, you know exactly where you were when you heard about it or saw it on TV. And maybe you even remember what you felt at the time. So I know exactly where I was during 9/11, except not for the reason you think. I happened to be locked away in a house in Randburg with 11 other people. And I would emerge from that house more than 3 months after 9/11 happened. And I had no clue 9/11 had happened in those 3 months. When I did emerge from that house, I came into a world that was completely different from the one I left temporarily. I entered a world where everything had changed. Everybody was affected. Fear was rampant, and it felt surreal in the beginning. But as I integrated into the world, I felt myself changing. I felt myself being taken by the current that was currently flowing. And I think this happens to us in many different ways. When you join a new organization, for instance, there's a culture that exists there. And as you step into it, all fresh-eyed and bushy-tailed, and if it's a toxic culture that you step into, you will get washed away by the current. You'll get swallowed up by the current unless you have the ability, the wherewithal to withstand it. And some people do without losing themselves. This is rare. And some people simply step out of the current if it doesn't fit. So what does this all mean? There's a story that Carl Jung used to tell his students, and it's about a province in China, I think it was, where they had been experiencing devastating drought for many, many years. And after years of prayer from all the different sects and all of that, and nothing seemed to be working, eventually the people got together and they said, call the rainmaker. And somebody went out for a number of days and returned with a very old, very decrepit man. And when he arrived, he said, I need a house that is secluded and quiet, and I need to be there for 3 days and not be disturbed. So they complied with his wishes, and he went into this house, and he stayed there for 3 days as promised. And when he emerged on the 4th day, that afternoon, suddenly rain clouds gathered, and they had the most massive thunderstorm. And eventually, I think it turned into a snowstorm. So the rainmaker was then questioned by some of the people in the village. And they said, how did you bring the rain? Snow. And he said, no, I didn't do that. I said, but what did you do? And he said, well, when I got here, everything was out of alignment with the Tao, with the way. Where I came from, everything was in alignment and everything worked. When I got here, everything was not as it should be. And that meant that I was not as I should be. So what I did for the 3 days is, all I did was I brought myself into the Tao, into the way of how things should be, into alignment. And when I brought myself into alignment, everything else came into alignment. And so the rain and the snow came. That is what I did. Now, we live in a world of cause and effect. There is always a cause, and it produces multiple effects. Right now, we're in the effect of something. There has to have been a cause And the cause is not necessarily linear. It is not something that somebody did or didn't do. Okay? That's part of it. But when you start to understand how we're all connected, and I've already spoken about entanglement, you may start to recognize that when something this big happens, when there's an effect this big, we all have to be the cause. And we all are the cause on some level or another. Because nothing happens without cause. Now, if we are the cause and we are busy experiencing the effect, then the cause and effect are connected. So how did we become the cause of this? And can we be the cause of something different going forward? What will it take? What will that mean for us? How do we get into alignment with the Tao, the way? And it has to happen on an individual basis first, before it can happen as a larger effect around us. So this is again our individual responsibility. I've been, on social media because it's a great way to tap into what is going on around. And there are still so many who are in judgment, in a space of being cynical. There are so many who are claiming to be aligned or claiming to be righteous in some way and claiming superiority over others just because somebody else thinks differently. And yeah, there are a whole lot of conspiracy theories, but we need that. It's part of all of this. And we need diverse voices. Nobody has the market on truth. Not you, not me, not anybody. And it is only when we have these diverse perspectives, these diverse views, even loony, wacky stuff way out there, that maybe we have the ability of arriving in our own individual capacity to some understanding, to some deeper understanding. And maybe we can become, as a result of that, the cause of something different, of a new effect in the world. So, how do you bring yourself into alignment? How do you bring yourself to the way? And what does that mean even? And these are questions that we all should be pondering, and we all should be looking at. How do we start aligning ourselves with better ideals, positive ideals, a stronger narrative, a more tolerant narrative, a more open perspective, rather than standing in judgment, being superior, pushing others down, calling other perspectives, ones that are not yours, loony or out there or whatever. I think our freedom is under threat. And yes, it's under threat in a bigger sense, but it starts with us. You have the right to exercise your freedom to say what you want to say, but so do others. And we should never take that for granted. And we should defend that at all costs. So, yeah, that's my little spiel for today. Thank you for tuning in, as always, and love to hear your comments. Have a good rest of the weekend. See you tomorrow. Bye.